but it's going to be kind of an uphill battle.
Yeah, and that was the one thing I agreed with her on. But then she goes on to talk about how it's fine to have your battle royal. It's fine for other movies to have their battle royale in downtown Manhattan. But the Super Friends deserve more. Which just completely I shot out of my chair and almost threw something. I was like, why is it not fine for the Avengers? Why is she holding this movie up as something that needs to be more? I mean, and it was more. It ended up being fantastic. I mean, but it's like, don't ever put it in the same category as a Transformers 2 or something sure Michael Bay would do.
I'm not sure what she's asking for. I think she's being sarcastic with the Super Friends line. I don't think she actually is making a mistake. But yeah,
I can't sign off on that necessarily. I don't know this lady. She could think they're the Super Friends.
I mean, she calls them the Avengers elsewhere. I'm just reading into that.
I just don't understand, and it just made me angry. It was the first negative review I found, and I just don't like. I think a lot of fans are probably in touch with this feeling. We're so behind Whedon at this point, and we've just been waiting for that one big moment, and he's finally got it. And to hear a voice of dissension, I feel like she should be stoned.
I hate that. I mean, and there were comments on the Rotten Tomatoes thing, like they're calling her a bitch. I think it says more about the fandom, who are ridiculous, than about the woman. I mean, you can write a sarcastic, biting review. That's the fun about being a movie critic. I support her.
Oh, wow. You're a bastard! Wow, how dare you?
I'm not going to play.
You're next on the stoning block.
Go ahead. I'll be a martyr.
I don't. What do you guys think this year's Comic-Con is going to be like? Because Whedon's a god at Comic-Con. I would hate to be there this year. For that Avengers panel, oh, good lord. That's going to be ridiculous. There's going to be a riot. There's going to be a riot of girls throwing their panties at Joss Whedon. And he's going to be like Rockstar. He's going to be like Kiss.
What? How hot are these women? Let's just come out and say
it. Well, that's neither here nor there.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. There are some panties you don't want.
This is going to be like parachutes getting thrown up on stage. Oh, it's going to be terrible. All right, let's wrap up the Avengers talk. Let's get out of it right now. Final thoughts. I thought it was a fantastic movie. I thought the inclusion of Thanos at the end was an amazing, exciting moment and a peek at things to come. Didn't really like the Agent Coulson death, but that's neither here nor there. I hope we see a new Hulk franchise born from this with Mark Ruffalo as the lead. I think he's fantastic. I think he stole the movie. There was no better moments than when that big green motherfucker was on screen tearing shit up. It was amazing. And I'm super happy for Whedon. I'm glad he's finally getting the respect he deserves.
Yeah, I mean,
that's my final thoughts.
I echo you. Definitely on the Mark Ruffalo thing. I'd love to see a new franchise there. I am just happy Whedon, because I've been a fan of Whedon for a long time. Giant nerd here for that guy. I would throw my panties at him way before this. And I'm just happy that his kind of special brand of dialogue and storytelling get to the big screen. Because he was always going to get there sooner or later, and I'm glad to see it's happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I mean, Whedon bandwagon aside, as I'm clearly on it, this has been the superhero movie I've been waiting for. As someone who's been growing up with these characters and who found the Avengers as like his first super team to get behind, this was the movie I've been waiting for my entire life. And I think I couldn't have asked much more from it. The introduction of Thanos at the end was near perfect for me, and to see all these guys together on one screen proves that this kind of movie can actually happen, and I don't just have to imagine it as a child.
Yeah, the ambition is really impressive.
I'm sorry, Dan, what'd you say?
That's it. That was what I was going to say.
No, I actually didn't hear you.
Sure. I mean, I was going to say that the ambition, what Joe was talking about, it's possible to have them all together on one screen. It is an incredibly ambitious movie. Like, one of the more ambitious that I've seen. So that woman who gave the bad review, I don't know what she wants out of the ambition, because this is incredibly ambitious, and it does deserve credit where credit's due.
And you guys Joe, you made a really, really good point. Whedon proved that an uncompromising team movie of superheroes can work. Where does this put DC? Because all of their heroes are in their, still in their single movies. Nothing's connected. It's completely different worlds. Right. We're going to need to see a JLA movie at some point in time.
Well, they tried to talk about it, and that's where Marvel's got the one up on them. Is DC tried to do it? There was that talk of them doing it, but then they couldn't get Christian Bale, they couldn't get Brandon Routh, they couldn't get anybody. They couldn't decide whether or not Ryan Reynolds was going to be the Flash or apparently Green Lantern, because he was supposed to be the Flash for a really long time too. And then they totally scrapped the whole bring out all the stars and went to this, let's get a bunch of unknowns to play the Justice League movies, so it would stand alone and apart from the other films. And DC just has no idea what they're doing there. And I'm sure they want to do this, but I don't think they can put it together. I think it's not going to happen the way they want it to. So I think Marvel's got the leg up on them in that department. And I think, aside from Batman, I don't think DC's films have a lot to stand on against them right now.
You see, I'm going to actually put a wager down. I bet you, everything you said was true before the Avengers it was on track to do $1 billion at the box office.
Right.
I am fairly sure that DC is watching this and shaking their heads, hands on their face palming, saying we need to get our shit together. Right now.
Don't they still have the same issue though? Isn't Superman and Batman on? No, I think they're all Warner Brothers now, right? It was Green Lantern Warner Brothers too.
No, but honestly, I doubt we'll ever see another Green Lantern movie again.
Aww.
Yeah, not to that.
Aww.
Go ahead, whatever. Let's keep it on the Avengers. Let's not.
All right.
We don't need to talk about that movie. that abortion that never happened that I will not ever talk about. No, but I can't imagine that they're not viewing this and saying, okay, we have to. I mean, they're rebooting the Batman series. The new Superman movie's coming out with that guy that plays a werewolf on like True Blood or something. And once again, they're destroying the Superman costume. Whatever. But yeah, you're right. It does feel like they have no clue what they're doing. They have really no direction, and they're not building up to a team movie. And they really should. Because honestly, the JLA is the only thing that I could ever see being bigger than the Avengers.
Right.
Yeah, they're pretty
But
cool.
that's just my 2 thoughts. 2 cents. Let's move on. Let's get into video games. Show's already running long. Alex, are you there?
Right here and listening and enjoying what I've been hearing. I'm sold on the movie, guys. It does sound really cool.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna go see it this week, and then maybe next week I'll just throw in my 2 cents on it. But I mean, you guys clearly have a better handle on this whole universe than I do. I've never touched a comic book in my life, so I don't think I really would have been.
I'm gonna get you into comics at some point.
I got plenty to go around.
Okay.
I haven't either, but I mean, the movies are kind of their own universe at this point.
Yeah,
they're mimicking what it's like in a comic.
Well, that's the thing is I always had the sort of, and I don't want to get stuck in the Avengers, but I should just give a little background that, I was never crazy about any of these Marvel movies. I mean, the Iron Man movies, very solid. Thought Jon Favreau did a fantastic job making an entertaining movie with Robert Downey Jr. and
Good time.
Yeah, and Thor was silly fun, and that's all I saw. And I'm going to be getting Captain America from Netflix soon enough, so I guess I'll probably have the same attitude about that. So, I don't know. I guess the word I would use to describe the Marvel movies that I've seen, the Spider-Man movies not included, they're just solid, good films, and I'm sure that this will not be an exception.
Yeah, I can go with
Actually,
that.
you know what? You kind of just brought up an interesting point about the fact that you haven't seen all of the movies, and that I think Joe, did you say that, or was it you, Alex, that said that the comic or the movies are drawing from the comics and all that? It's actually interesting. After the Iron Man movies released, the comics started drawing from the movie. Because it was, Robert Downey Jr. was so good as Tony Stark, and the action in those movies was so good. It was elements of the movie started leaking into the comics. Nick Fury used to be a white guy. Now he's black.
Now? Oh.
He's I wanna get the comic book nerd out of here. He's still white in the actual Marvel universe. Well,
it's the Ultimate Universe,
yes,
right?
and that's where. But he was designed as a black guy. He was assigned as Samuel L. Jackson essentially. So they took from that. So yeah, there's some leakage back and forth now.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting because now it's going the other way, and now that the Avengers are so popular, and I'm sure sales of that book are going through the roof right now. I'm sure we're going to start seeing some leakage from the movie into the Avengers series of comic. What, are you guys laughing because I said leakage?
It's such a good word.
It's such a perfect word. It's
leakage.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think it sounds really cool, and I'm excited to see it. I mean, I Listening to you guys talk about the DC universe in terms of how pretty much useless it is at this point just reminded me, yeah, really the only thing I could care about are the Batman movies of this current trilogy. And to be perfectly honest, I think the only reason why they're so good is because of the man behind them, and that's Christopher Nolan. It has nothing to do with the property.
Makes sense.
No, I would completely agree with that statement. I have no hope for the new Superman movie.
Oh yeah, well, Superman Returns. Does anyone remember that 2 hours and 45 minutes they'll never get back? I mean, Jesus Christ, that movie was terrible.
I don't think they have anybody to blame but the Usual Suspects guy. What's his name? I can never remember
Bryan
his name.
Singer.
Bryan Singer. See,
Yeah,
I think he's a fantastic filmmaker, but he's only really ever made one great film, and that was Usual Suspects.
Yeah, I thought Ralph was a very good successor
Yeah.
to Christopher Reeve. I
Yeah.
thought he was a good Superman. I don't know why people gave him shit.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I just thought the whole thing was boring and didn't really feel like anything was going on. I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing memorable about that movie was Kevin Spacey, like, chewing scenery. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just that it wasn't really what I was looking for.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's kind of low impact on that one. Funnily enough, talk about DC Universe. I know that Whedon was scheduled to direct Wonder Woman once upon a time,
He was. Yeah.
and now I guess Marvel kind of poached him to do this, and
Well, DC
must
got
be kicking
their
themselves.
DC couldn't get their fucking act together and get him a fucking script that was approved. Like they didn't like anything he put out there, and then he left because they kept dragging their butt.
Yeah,
It's a shame.
this is. I'm gonna cap this with
Yeah.
one comment about Wonder Woman, and then we got to move on to video games.
It's true.
This is how head up the ass DC is, because Wonder Woman went from a feature film to a TV series starring Adriana Patricki or some chick from Varsity Blues, or not Varsity Blues. What was that TV show? Friday Night Lights. Yeah. That Texas
Varsity
football
Blues.
TV show.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Done by the guy that did Ally McBeal, and instead of being
No.
like a kick-ass, I think it wasn't
Yes,
it? I'm
yes.
pretty sure it was Ally
Whoever that
McBeal.
guy was.
Bizarre.
Yeah. And instead of being a kick-ass superhero TV series, it was going to be how Wonder Woman deals with the pressures and problems of being a 20-something and an Amazon princess all at the same time. And it was just
Sounds like the Ally
fucking
McBeal guy.
terrible.
It sounds like they were. It sounded like they were trying to capitalize on the Smallville thing or something.
Oh well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want
that's-
to talk about Smallville.
Yeah, let's not
no,
do
right.
that.
Let's move on to video games. Should we talk
Yes.
about?
Okay, let's move
we
on
should-
to video
movie
games.
physics. That's what we're talking about.
That's next.
Yeah.
Yes, Dead or Alive 5. We are officially moved on to video games. Dead or Alive, Team Ninja, and I love you, Team Ninja. I really do. I love you so much for this. I cannot wait. I am unapologetically behind the Dead or Alive series and their exploitation of women and the booby physics and sexuality and the whole thing. I love it. I love it all. I'll buy every game that they ever put out. They're pushing it to a new level with DOA 5. They're giving their ladies costume-specific, transparent booby physics. So basically, when you select your fighter, if it's a female, you'll be able to go through all their costumes, and you can pick the one that actually probably shows a little bit of titty. And the boobies will bounce differently per costume. I love it. I think they should win every developer award this year.
I can tell you right now where this came from. They looked at Mortal Kombat and those X-ray hits they got and said, how can we incorporate something like that into our universe? What do we have that Mortal Kombat doesn't have? Oh yeah, boobies. We got to make it transparent. We got to have people be able to see how these boobies work because they're ridiculous. These people at Team Ninja, Jesus.
I'm just glad
Dude,
they're.
I sense hate in your voice, Alex, and I don't understand it.
It's not hate. It's not hate. It's just condescension. That's all.
I'm just glad they're
Go
making
ahead, Joe.
booby physics just a reality. Like that phrase now is going to be a thing that just comes on with Dead Alive every time. That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
We have new and improved
It's
booby
part of the
physics.
lexicon now.
You can put it
Yeah.
on the box art. I don't know.
Yeah,
I-
clothing specific, transparent booby physics. Like that phrase just needs to be stamped on every box.
It'll probably
There
be on the
is
back.
there's going to come a day where you're walking down the street and you're going to hear some teenager comment about some hot chick walking by saying she has great booby physics.
If this game
And
becomes a
that
hit,
will
yeah.
happen.
Yes.
I am starting it.
I'm
You're
going to do it
hear
tomorrow.
me.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Doing my way to
Yeah.
work.
Well, I agree with this sort of PR move sentiment that I think it was Yosuke Hayashi said, where he added it at the bottom of this